Hello, everybody. Welcome to WWP Live on IG, where we are interviewing writers with purpose. At Written Words Publishing, we envision a world where every storyteller, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to share their voice, shape narratives, and impact the world through the written word. And today, our guest will be author Carmel Austin. She's an author. She's also a publisher. And she released an anthology titled The Artist Haven. The book description reads, "Come on a journey of discovery and transformation as we unearth and birth this unique book of artistic creativity. 14 creative kindred spirits come together to form the Artist Haven, a collection of stories to inspire, challenge, and help you embrace your inner artist in this unique book of artistry. Take a deep dive into the creative mind where we unfold dreams to script and help you realize this art form by exploring various artists' connections to the creative, including their journey to becoming artists, their path to creative refinement, how they found healing through creative expression." Okay, so welcome, Carmel, to WWP Live, and tell us something about yourself and the purpose behind the Artist Haven.
Okay, so the Artist Haven is something that was birthed out of me visiting my beautiful friend in my local shop. She's an artist as well. And I'd already done my book, Just Say No, and that was a really more of about my journey of infertility. And I was really excited that I was on this journey, became a coach. And the Artist Haven was more to me like, oh, this will be a bit more fun because I'm talking about me as a creative and my artistic journey. And I love photography and I love painting and quilting and anything creative. I love cooking. And so it was like, oh, yeah, it felt a little bit heavy of writing a little bit of my story about my loss of my babies who are in heaven now growing up. They would have been 30 this year. And I just sort of put out, my girlfriend said to me, let's do this. And she wrote a story in the book as well, Susan. And I put out a call on Facebook and I had my beautiful partner, Stephanie, like within a couple of minutes join me and say she wanted to make a time, and God brought us together, and I gathered 14 women from around the globe, and a lot of them actually were from my coaching course that I had done as well. And so they joined me. I had from New Zealand, Australia, from Canada, from America, from the Philippines, and everybody came with their unique story. They came with their uniqueness. And one of the things about being our co-author books is Stephanie had this great idea, because normally with co-author books, your chapter just stands alone. But she had this great idea that we would link all the chapters together. So when you read both my books, as you know, Melvise, we've done my second book in the series Journey to Wholeness. Each chapter we introduce the next person. So God actually showed me where to place everybody. And I know that you've recently spoke to my beautiful friend Doris on your TV program, and she came second. So in the Artist Haven, we have pictures, we have artwork, everything's in color, and it just was a fun book. But I had to really learn. I had to dig in and learn the process, because I'd written my story in a book and I had this desire to learn and grow. And through that, Carmel Austin Publishing was birthed. And, Angie, she actually painted the picture for for the cover. And Angie is one of my beautiful artists in the book. And I'm actually working with Angie at the moment. And she's painting the picture for my kids' book that I wrote at TAFE years ago called Silver. So, you know, God has just been aligning me with all these amazing women. I actually have a lovely man, Tim, in this book as well. He's a watercolor artist. I've got some of his beautiful work. He did a picture of my grandchildren. And what I love about the Artist Haven, that there's so much creativity and things. There's a story about how God has helped us all overcome. And that, you know, I really realized that my calling is to help creatives bloom, to help creatives share their story, to help creatives be okay with who you are. Because, you know, I've grown up with Erlen, which is a dyslexia, and, you know, having to cope with the screen and writing and all of those things, it's really been really hard. But I just feel like the grace of God has just come in and he's picked up all my childhood dreams. And here I am, you know, sharing my story in my books and establishing me as a coach. You know, I help women rewrite their inner story. Then they come on and then they share their stories in my books, or they're even writing their own books with me. So it's just amazing. And I have my podcast show as well. So there's so much that God has given me. And I just feel so grateful from when I stepped out with Just Say No, my first book. And then, you know, I'm on to The Artist Haven, which I just love that book. I love everybody's authenticity in the book and everything that goes with it. I'm sure you want to ask some questions because I know I'm talking.
You just talk on, because we just want the audience to know all about the Artist Haven. We want them to go ahead and go and
so with the Artist Haven, you know, it was a really learning experience for me. And when we finished that, I actually created a course called Birth Your Book from Dream to Reality with Stephanie as well. But the Artist Haven really set me up as a publisher and as an illustrator and as a coach and all of those things. And now I have my beautiful website, my brand new website, carmelsgarden.com. And you can go on there, you can purchase my books from me, you can purchase them from any retailer around the world. You know, there's so many wonderful things that I just feel incredibly blessed with my podcast show. You can go on there. It's now, the link is on my website as well. I'm on Spotify and YouTube, and I interviewed at least 10 of my artists from the Artist Haven. So if anyone's wanting to hear some of their stories, you can log into Spotify or my YouTube channel. You can go onto my website now and go into podcasts, and it'll take you to the link with them as well. That was season 3. And, you know, I really loved interviewing people. And what I'm finding is, you know, as a coach, I love to share people's stories. And I love to write their stories. I love to critique them and help them and get their stories written down that's going to be honouring, but really sharing their heart. And as an artist and an artist stan, you know, in my book, The Artist Haven, I honour my husband, who is an artist stan. You know, he comes beside me and he makes my frames and he creates with me. So it was a real privilege to do that and be able to honour him in there. And I like with my books as well, instead of the person being at the back, I put their picture at the front and I, you know, do a little intro about them there and a dedication there. So when people open up their chapter, they know who they are. They see their photo. And I love that, you know, that really is flowing on with my books because, you know, The Artist Haven was the first one in the series. And then we have Courageous Voices Unlocked. And then, of course, we're going to be doing the third one in the series as well about self-care. And that's what I'm really doing at the moment. You know, I've been spending all that time recreating my sixth website, which is my forever website, and I'm really thrilled about that. But I love that everything I do and I put my hand to. My magazine, in my magazine, Mystery of Eden, I feature 4 of my beautiful artists in the Artist Haven. So, you know, you can get that on Lulu. You can go to my website and get that link as well. I love creating. I love that, you know, we have all these platforms for Lulu and Ingram Spark and, you know, and then Ingram Spark send it out to Amazon and then, you know, I get them in, and I've done local launches at the library. I had the absolute privilege to go to the library this year in February, and we did the Artist Haven and Courageous Voices Unlocked, and I think we had about 70 people there, the town band. We had a choir, which Catherine's in the choir, one of my authors. So I love the online. I'm always online, and I'm always sharing about my books. I'm sharing about my beautiful authors. I love coordinating with people with, you know, with the magazine. And when we talk about a bit more about the next book, Doris was wonderful with that. And my Gushif, who's in the Artist Haven, she started the journey with me. So I love to collaborate with these women and people that God brings along and share their stories. And I love marketing. I love being able to continue to tell people about their stories, about my books. And, you know, and thank you, Melvise, for inviting me on to share about my absolute, you know, they're my heart. They're everything about me as a coach. And, you know, some people say, you know, I'm not ready to share my story. Well, I've got my coaching program. And so there's so many different things that you can come on and I can help you step by step with that. I have my group on Facebook, The Thriving Woman. Then I have my podcast show, The Thriving Woman. So God has just aligned everything. And I just feel so privileged that here I am sitting in my office here in Australia, you know, and I do my podcast shows and my interviews from here. And, you know, I love that, Melvise, you know, God brought you along with, you know, the next book in the series and how we've coordinated together with that. And there's lots of other books. So, yeah, we'll see where God is taking us on that journey.
Yeah. Yes, well, it's good to hear that you heard the calling and you answered it. You definitely answered it, and you took advantage of all that time that, you know, during COVID when people just felt like they couldn't do anything. And that's not actually true. There was plenty that you could do, and you took the step. And I'm glad to hear all that. So that's really awesome. So how many authors? You said there's 48 authors in the Artist Haven.
There's 14 authors in the Artist
14.
Haven.
Okay.
And let me tell you, if we had 48,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have known what to do.
What?
14 is enough when you got 3,000 to 4,000 or more words to negotiate. When I was learning, you know, Google and how to send out files and read everyone's things, and then you've got a publisher. And look, you know, and I dream about having a book with that many, but what I've really realized is that it's in the small groups. It's in the small groups where I'm not just writing someone's story. I'm in the group background praying for them, sending messages and prayer and encouraging them and coaching them and helping them. And of course, a lot of the people, English wasn't their first language. So Hannah, you know, her first language is not English. And even with, you know, my author who painted the picture, her first language is German. So, you know, there was all that to get over and help them write their stories really well. So on that process, it helped me become a really great editor. And then when, you know, I did my magazine, I had to edit all that and, you know, get it up there. So folks, with my magazine too, the first magazine is free online, the e-magazine. So, you know, you can go to my website and click the link, or you know, you can find it, but you can get the printed ones as well. So I spent ridiculous amounts of hours getting that happening, as well as with the Artist Haven. You know, I remember when I first got the first book, we had paid for someone to do the cover, and she was in hospital sick. So my VA at the time, Donna, who shared her story in here, her and I had to do the cover. So that's where I learned how to do everything in Canva, and I created the cover. And when I first got the first one, it wasn't right. And, you know, so there's so many things that I've had to go through. But I praise God, you know, that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to, like we do, coming on live here, and it took a few times. And it's okay to share that we're on this journey together. And I love to get around my authors and around my clients, and I love to encourage them and say, I'm on this journey as well, you know. I make mistakes all the time. My brain goes 100 miles an hour having Irlen syndrome and ADHD and you know, all of those things that go on. So I've got to learn to do that self-care where we're going out walking with our dog after this and making sure that I slow down, because I just go 100 miles an hour. And I just thank God that, you know, I'm not on this journey on my own. I've got my beautiful partner Stephanie with me. I've got Doris with me, who helps me with the creativity of things and pictures, and you know, she's the photographer in the Artist Haven as well. And then, you know, Gushif started to help me with the magazine. And so, you know, I love this. I love the connection with people. I love the journey in the life with people. And that's why we call the series Journey to Wholeness. Because, you know, and Stephanie and I got really excited that we had, you know, named the series and then got it out there. I've learned how to get on my things on Ingram Spark, on Amazon. And, you know, there's a lot of work behind the scenes. But I've just spent the last 3 months redoing my website. And really it's like producing a magazine or producing a book, or, you know, all of those things. So I'm just so grateful to God that when I came home from Israel, because I went to Israel in 2010 for 5 weeks, I said yes. I went to TAFE and I learned how to become a website developer. And what I realized is all of my creativity is just being birthed in that. And in the time, I've made 6 or 7 quilts for family over the time. And, you know, I love being a health coach and helping people, a wholeness coach. I love using my cooking with my heritage book as well that's coming out too. Through my eyes, I'll be doing a cookbook, which I dreamed about too. So there's so many things that I'm so grateful to God that I'm on this journey. And my books are just, you know, my babies that have been birthed here in the natural, because my babies in heaven are growing up there. So I'm so grateful that, you know, God has really used all those things and birthing all these things in me, because I knew that I had lots of stuff, but I had a lot of things to get over. I had a lot of grief. I had a lot of pain. In my book, Just Say No, I talk about that. You know, I didn't understand why God wasn't answering my prayers and allowing me to bring up my children here on this earth. Then when I went to the Artist Haven, I talk more about being an artist and not understanding, you know, I always could develop the picture in my head and then I make it come to life in, you know, my creations, in my quilts or my cooking or my podcast show or my books. So I'm really just coming into who I am and who God has created me to be. I turned 60 this year. My husband and I just celebrated 40 years of marriage as well. So the first 5 months of this year have been super busy. I'm so grateful. We got away in our caravan down the coast. We have a little old pop top. We spent 2 weeks at the beach swimming and walking and campfires, and that just rejuvenates me. And in that time I was looking at this, you know, that still small voice where God talks to you about, you know, you can move on and do something new. And I've been asking him about my website, and I'm just thrilled that my friend Anne, you know, we coordinated together, and I'm, her mum, hoping her mum, I'm going to help her mum publish her book as well. Then in my new book too, that I've got another client. So, life's busy, and I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful that I stepped out and I said yes to myself, yes to my dreams, and yes to God.
That's right. That's right. Give God all the glory for that. Well, that is so awesome. Well, we loved hearing about all the wonderful things you have going on over there, all the way over there in Australia, and all the people that you helping. And we love to hear your testimony. So, for anybody out there, if you're thinking about doing it, Carmel Austin, she is a living example that it can be done. And age is not a factor. Location is not a factor. There's somebody out there that can help you, get it done. And you can do all things through Christ. That is
Absolutely, folks. Absolutely. And if you are wanting to write your story and you are unsure about that, or you feel like, you need some coaching, and, I have coaching programs as well. And, I feature people in my magazines or on my podcast show. You can come and be a co-host or a guest on my shows. Everything is on my website now. So you can go to carmelsgarden.com and you can check it out, and I'm asking some of my authors as well now to do some reviews on Google for me, because I'm getting all that set up as well. But I feel like, God is setting me up for the next 10 years. When I look back at the 10 years before, that was the foundation of all the things I wanted to do. And just in a short 3 years, I've got 3 books and a magazine, and then another magazine coming out this year, and then working on, another co-author book, my own books, because I actually wrote the story at TAFE about my dolphin, Silver. And it was about me visiting my auntie at the beach. And here I am, living that dream. And so I want to encourage you all that, we have our course to Birth Your Book. Now it's on my website for only $99 US. You can log in. It's a self-paced course that Stephanie and I did. We take you through writing, editing, marketing, publishing. We're there helping you, answering your questions. So, we'd love you to join us, because, I'm going to do some more courses as well. But, I've got to take that breath too and do that self-care. So when that, next co-author book comes around, which if you're interested in that as well, reach out to me, because, I just love doing life with women. I love helping women because, we all go through things. Some women go through divorce. Some women don't, like me. Their children are not here. They're growing up in heaven, or they're not married, and I'm not exclusive to women. We have Tim in our book. But, God has really given me a heart for women. Before I even became a wholeness coach and got certified, I used to bring women into my home and minister to them or help them in the community. And that helped me heal as well, because I had that big mother's heart like my mum did. And I love to serve and, and I love to help. But then I've learnt too, as I've got older, self-care is so important. And the time that I've spent on my books is my self-care, sharing my story and seeing how God brings it all together. And I'm just so, so thankful.
Yes, extremely thankful. Yes, and writing is therapeutic. And just like Carmel mentioned, there's a way that it can be done, and there's a way that you can do it yourself, but don't do it blind. Don't do it blind. Get the knowledge and the assistance that you need so that your finished product could be excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Carmel, for joining us here on WWP Live on IG. And we're actually going to end this live, and then we're going to come back so we can talk about Courageous Voices Unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And hopefully I will wait till you invite me in, and I won't touch anything else.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Melvie. This was so much fun. I'm really excited. I love marketing. My
This was
books.
awesome. This was awesome. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Anybody who's watching this who's thinking about doing it, come on and contact me and come on, get on my calendar and let's go live so we can expose you to the world. Expose your book
Yes, yes.
to
Can't
the
get
world.
on and talk about your life and your books and you know what God is doing. It's so much fun and it's really nice because I interview everyone all the time. So to actually share my story, that's what I'm doing. You know, I'm marketing my books. I really feel to market my website. I really feel to market what I've got. And I'm working in the background, but I'm still grateful for Mel V's inviting. So yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you, Mel V's. God bless.
All right, thank you. All right, y'all. You all have a blessed evening and we will see you on the next live. All right, bye, y'all.